live streaming on BitChute, Rumble, and Odyssey. Okay, so quick reminder before we begin that I live stream every single day at 2 p.m. Eastern. You visit ojambo.com, go down to watch many live streams, you see the topics for this and upcoming tutorials, and you're free to join the live chat, post anything about programming or lifestyle topics. And as you can see for this particular article, there is a direct link right to the live stream. And also be sure to subscribe, like, follow, and leave comments because it helps the channel grow, and for content such as this one, which sometimes are requested by you, the viewers. Okay, so if you're just simply watching, you don't have to join the live chat, that's perfectly fine. You can watch the video live, or it will be embedded with the article as well. You can watch it that way too. Alright, so what is Gogs? It's a lightweight personal Git service. If you're looking for a simple, fast, easy way to host your own Git repositories, meet Gogs, the open source Go Git service. Think of it as your own personal lightweight alternative to platforms like GitHub or GitLab, designed to be set up with minimum fuss on your own server. So it's written in the Go language, and it is designed for simplicity and low resource consumption, making it perfect for smaller teams, personal projects, or even running on low power devices like a Raspberry Pi. Best of all, because it's open source, you get the full transparency and control over your code hosting environment. So to set up Gogs, I'm going to use a Podman-Compose. I'm going to use Podman-Compose. You don't have to use Podman-Compose. You can simply just do like 2 or 3 commands on your command line, and you'll be fine. Or I said in a future tutorial, I'll start using some other services, like say Podman Desktop or something like that. I'll attempt to use those instead. But the reason I've been doing this tutorial is just show you how easy it is. Like you're in full control. That's a focus of obviously this channel. Okay, so the prerequisites, obviously you need to have Podman installed. Podman can be installed on obviously in Linux it's pretty easy to do that, but on Windows and Mac OS it can also be installed. You go to podman.io, the instructions are all there. Okay, so if you don't want to do that, you already have Docker, you can just follow along. Everything works just fine in Docker as well. I prefer Podman because it's rootless, meaning you don't have to run it as it doesn't require root permissions to install containers or create your own images. Okay, so obviously I'm on Linux again. Podman-Compose is pretty easy. It's usually in the repositories, but if not, you can install using pip. That's obviously Python. If you obviously need to have Python installed as well. And then I just created a directory for my configuration files. I'll show you that in a second. As you can see here, here's the I'm not using a container file because this is very straightforward. Fortunately, there's already a Gogs image, so that's what we're going to use. So I'll just put everything in a compose file. So because I'm using Podman, it will use Docker YAML files, or you can just call it compose.yaml, YAML, or just YML. They all work. And if you had a container file, it also work as well. You can call it container file, you can call it Docker file. You can even specify the name as well, just like Docker. It'll work as well. Now, if you notice here, port 3000 is perfectly fine. I'll explain you why that's perfectly fine. Now the problem is port 22. That is also perfectly fine because that one is even though it's lower than 1000. That's the thing about Podman. Ports which are lower than 1000 usually are not allowed because those are root ones. But for stuff like say port 80, port 444, and obviously 22, those are known for specific protocols. So those ones are allowed, so you can use those. But I like to change sometimes the port numbers because I do use port 22 on my host machine. So I prefer to use 222 when I'm connecting to the container. That it maps it to that one so that I don't get confused when I'm trying to do other things as well. So that's why I do that. Okay, and then after that, you see here you have the user 1000 user ID. That's my user on my system. I'll show you that as well when we jump to the command line. This is where I'm getting these numbers from, 1000, 1000. I said before that has something to do with the Podman, not Podman. It's because Podman is rootless. It doesn't run as a root user. And here you just Podman-Compose space up, and then space -d. You don't need to put build because it's automatically going to get. I think in Docker you just have to put build the first time, but in Podman you don't have to do it. It's smart enough to know that you want to build or you just want to start up, so you don't need to do that. So the -d is obviously for detach. If you don't do that, it's just going to put all the logs onto the screen. So if you only have one terminal, don't open up another tab or another terminal instance. Detach is perfectly fine, and you can trust what I'm doing here because I've at least tested it, so there should not be any problems, at least at the time of this recording. Okay, so after that is done, it will take you to the setup interface in your web browser, localhost 3000, and you just fill in the information. So I'm not going to read this part here. You guys, if you want to read it, you can go read it there. I want this tutorial to go a little bit faster. So because I'm going to do it again, so it doesn't make sense to explain the same thing over and over again. So if any of you are listening to this tutorial from the podcast, I will explain when I open up the web browser what's happening. So instead of just reading it right from the article, but the article is the link is also in the description. So essentially what I would do is, once we're inside the application, the web application, I'm going to create a repository there. Then on my host machine, I'm going to clone it, and then I'll push it back, and then we'll go back to the web UI and check to make sure that we have we have pushed it, we'll push our changes. So yeah, because this is a Git tutorial. So there we go, and you can see I created some SSH keys, and again I've explained why I create the SSH keys specific for each application. I think this is obviously for tutorials, but also goes sometimes in the past. I don't think it's going to happen again, but in the past I had to connect to some servers for clients, and they will have like very outdated versions of SSH. So I didn't want to mark up my, by default when you create your own SSH key, it puts it into your .ssh folder. So I didn't want that sometimes, because sometimes the project might be a one-time thing, meaning I just need to upgrade it and everything will be fine. So I had to create special keys and all that kind of stuff. So that's why I don't like putting it there. I don't want to mark up my own key, right, is what I'm getting at. So I prefer to keep the key separate, so that way I can move it around if I need to. And it's safer now. For example, if the system crashes, which can happen, I can simply grab the key, because you can still back up everything, but you get my point. I'm saying that I don't want to keep my one key I use everywhere. That's what they tell you when you search the internet. I don't think that's a good idea. It's okay to have multiple keys for a different application or users, and you can keep them. You don't have to keep them there. I'll show you how you can keep them in your relative to your application. Obviously, don't put them in the Git repository, right? You shouldn't do that as well. So in this case, it's not a problem because it's just a Podman. It's going to be containers. Okay, so you can see here some screenshots. Again, I'm not going to explain this. I will explain it again when we actually run this on the command line. And here's the interface for Gogs. And again, I'll explain this when we actually go there. I'll go through everything. Don't worry about it, including the cloning and the pushing. And this is the live stream, so I'm going to hit the play button here when we actually run this on the command line. And you can see I think it's just a few milliseconds behind. Okay, let's look at the YAML file first. So I'm going to open up the YAML file in which one? Here we go, in the editor. I'm going to go through it here, explain everything's going on. I'm going to zoom in here. So version is 3. Its services, I call it Gogs. The image is gogs/gogs, so it's gonna download that from usually it's from docker.io, but these days there are other repositories, so you can specify the repository here and pick it up. So example, because I'm on Fedora, it always has the Fedora repositories, and then it has the usually checks GitHub. So not GitHub, what do you call it? Docker.io. So the container name, I just called it Gogs as well. put restart always. So this allows it, if something goes wrong, it can try to restart by itself instead of having you going and restart on the command line. Because I mean, that's the point of the YAML file, so that it's more automated. You don't have to, you just run it once and that's it. So the ports, we map 3000 to 3000. That's because I'm not using port 3000 on my host machine for anything else. That's for the web UI. And then I'm using port 2222 for SSH. The reason for that, as I said before, is because on my host system, I do use port 22. So I don't want to get confused or anything. So if I use 2222, I know that's for container. Now, rarely, I think there are some remote servers for shared hosting that do use the same thing, but obviously I won't be running this at the same time. Okay, then after that, the volumes are just called gogs_data. That will be mapped to /data inside the container. And then for environment, this part is optional, but I map a user ID 1000 to and the group 1000 as well. So Gogs will know that that's the user. It's my user when it creates this. If it needs to create anything outside, in this case it's Gogs data. So I'll show you that in a second as well, and that's obviously the volume. All right, so that's our YAML file. We're done here. We don't need it anymore, so I'll just minimize that. We go back here to the command line. I'm on Linux. If I type ID here, you see it tells me that my user ID is 1000. That's me, Edward, and my group ID, that's GID, it's also 1000. So these are the other groups I'm in. You see, I'm in obviously I'm in the Edward group, I'm in the wheel group, I'm in the video group, I'm also in the render group. Right? You can see those numbers there. You notice they're all below. What do you call it? 1000. So this wheel group here, if you notice, that's obviously that's for sudo, because I'm also a sudo user. Sudo is like the name says, you're like a sudo root user, but you have to type sudo first and type in your password, and that will allow you to run some root permission commands. Oh yeah, we get some permissions for that as well. So you say it's 1000. That's basically what I put inside the YAML file, as you saw. Okay, so let me clear that. The next thing all I need to do is just type podman. Oh, before I do that, I'm gonna delete these keys and everything here, and I will regenerate them just so you guys can see. So there's nothing there. So to generate keys, in this case, I'm just going to use one command line, because I don't need what do you call it? I don't need what's what I'm looking for. Like I said, this is just for this tutorial, so I can create a key. I don't need a password with it, so I want to do everything in one line, what do you call it? One liner. So I'll paste this here so I don't make a mistake. You see the key is ED25519, and then I put Edward at Ujambo Show local. I said this is just local, just for testing. And then you see here -F. The -F specifies the location. So if I don't put that, it's gonna put it in the default location, which is, as I said, in the .ssh folder. I don't want that. It's gonna put it locally here where I'm running, right here. And then you see it says -n, meaning I don't want, there's gonna be no password. That's why it says two double quotes, so there's gonna be no password. So I press enter. You see it's done. Created some random image. Obviously it's in SHA-256, that's the default. And you see here's my SHA key, the fingerprint. And you see it has been created. It says it has been saved as admin._key. Oh, what happened here? Why didn't you create my key? Oh, did I play? Where am I? Oh, I'm in the wrong place. Oops. I thought it was in the right place. What do you call admin? Okay, I'm in the wrong place. So cd, what is it? I think it's ZZZ and tutorial, and I think it's Gogs. Okay, there we go. Oh, sorry about that. I put it in the wrong place. So let's do that again. Okay, there we go. So it created my admin key and my public key. So the next thing I need to do is I'm just going to change the permissions for the admin key, 600. This is a mandatory on Linux. I'm guessing probably on Mac OS as well. So I made it 600. The reason I made it 600, that means it's only going to be readable and writable by me, not even if people who I'm in my group. That's what the 6 means, read and write. 0 means nobody else. That's the group. So people in my group will not be able to read and write it, and obviously everybody else who wrote, they won't be able to do it as well. That's what it means. I could also have right-clicked here, go to properties, and see it says read and write. You see the group, none. The group is called Edward, none, and other users, they have none. So it's the same. It's just a short form. You can know there's several ways to do it. And here's my public key. So I'm going to need this public key later, and I'll show you. I can cut it out here, but I'm not. I'm going to open up in a text editor so you guys can see it. And obviously, I'm able to share this stuff with you guys because this is going to be deleted right after the tutorial, unless you guys want me to do some other stuff later on. But I'm saying is I can just recreate it pretty quickly. Okay, so with that done, then let me clear this. So just type podman space, podman-compose space up space -d and press enter. And you can see it cached. So because I already downloaded the that image, so it's already cached. So so it's up and running. To prove it's up and running, I just type podman space ps space -a, and you can see here. I'm going to zoom out so it's easy to read. You can see here. I'll zoom out even more. There we go. Even more. I don't know if you can see. There you go. So you see it says it was created 14 seconds ago. It's been, the status is up 14 seconds. And you see the ports here, 0000. I'll explain that in a second. And port 222, that's on the host system, is mapped to 22 inside the container. And then obviously 3000 is mapped to 3000. And see the name here, it's called Gogs. So if I need to enter it, I can just use Gogs instead of using the ID, which is this one here, the container ID. So Gogs will always be there. Okay, so that's it. Zoom out big here. Now all I need to is a web browser. So I'm gonna open up a web browser here, and come on. Oh, fine. It's been raining for the last 3 days. Like past 3 days it rained. Today it's actually sunny again, so it's nice. The rain was nice because I finally have some ponds and water, so the chickens will be happy when I go out later. All right. So here you can go to localhost or 127. It doesn't really matter where you go. So I'll use 127. It doesn't really matter, as I said before. So the one we want is :3000. There we go. So you see, you pick your database types. You see it has it. You see it's one of these databases. You see MySQL, Postgres, SQLite, or TIDB. So via the MySQL protocol, obviously MariaDB work as well. So I'm going to pick SQLite. That's because this is just a tutorial, and I don't feel like installing another container for one of these. I do have MariaDB though, so I could have done that. And then simple, because SQLite is, although it's a relation database, it's actually a flat file as well. So there we go. It's just a file, so that's fine. And then the application name is Gogs. I'm probably not going to change any of these. Yeah, I'll leave this the same. The port number 22. That's the one that's inside the container. So I just leave that as default. I'm not going to change anything here. I think, yeah, here it says localhost 3000. That's the same thing, map here. So I'm going to leave that as is. The only thing, if you notice something weird, when I installed this, I'm like, wait a minute, this looks very familiar. Do you guys recognize what this familiar with? Gitty, remember? I was like surprised because I thought all these were different applications, and they're like the old folks of Gitty. I was like, holy jeez, that's interesting. So the one I'm going to go to here is, obviously if you have an email server, you can you can change that here, but I'm not going to use that. And then you can see server and other offerings. You see I enable capture. You can change all of those you want, but the one I'm interested in is admin here. Now if I forget to put it here, I can also do it on the command line. I showed you how to do that when I used Gitty. but I'm saying is that it's much easier not to forget it. And you can see here it's also English. This is just a clone, obviously a fork of Gitty, but it is different. Unlike the others, it didn't just remove the build services. This is very different. You'll see later when we log in. Okay, so let me give this a I'll give it a I'll put in admin credentials here, and I'll just make up an email address. Obviously this is localhost, it's not actually work. Okay, there we go. So I'm going to install it. It says admin is invalid, admin name. Okay, so that's literally just like the other one. Okay, that's fine. So I have to change this. Oh, admin is not allowed. Okay, so I gotta change this. All right, no problem. I'll just say Edward. All right. So then let's sign in. Okay, so I'm in. Now, one thing I don't like about this is that it's not obviously responsive. So I'll need to use the scroll bar a little bit here. I wonder if I can make this. Yeah, I have to use the scroll bar. There we go. It's not too shabby. As you can see, it's more sparse than Gitty. This is the dashboard. You have issues, pull requests, and explore. That's it. So here under Edward, obviously, that's the organization I believe as well. So that's perfectly fine. I don't mind that. Here you can create a repository. We'll come back to that later. So I just want to show you a few things here. You can change your profile, obviously. Sorry, you can change your profile. Yeah, like your logo, change your avatar and stuff. So I said it's very, very sparse. It just focuses on Git server. All the others had extra stuff which I noted. You go to your settings here, so you can change my name. I can change my name, full name, my website, etc., and all that stuff here too if I update the profile. And then here, email addresses, SSH keys, security. You see two-factor authentication is off. Repositories, there's none. Organizations, none. Applications, there's none. And you can also delete the account. I'm not going to delete the account, of course, there's only one right now. So you see SSH keys. It's also much simpler to use this. So, did I create SSH keys? Oh yeah, I did. Yeah, I remember. So you just click here, add key, and then it says you can add your key here. So I'm going to do that. Remember, we created the key first on the command line. It's this guy right here. So you just need to place in your public key, not your private key, your public key. Okay, so I'm going to open this guy up here too. So just to show you what the public key looks like, it says this is the public key. You see, that's it. That's all it is. So you copy your public key, and you go here and just paste it in the content. I think it should automatically detect it. Okay, this one doesn't automatically detect it, but it. So I'll just call it Edward Taekwondo show that look. You can call it anything you want. So then I click add key. You see the difference between this one and Gitty. This one doesn't say, oh, you have to go then and verify the key, right? So obviously that's it. Nice and simple. I like that. All right. So now that we have added the key, we'll go back to the dashboard. Now I can create a repository. So I'm going to click create here and a new repository. So you see here, new repository, the repository name. I will call this one, what should I call it? My Python project. There you go. My Python project. And I'm not going to make it private or unlisted because I want to see it when we log out. Just for that, you can put a description if you need. And the git ignore here, I'm going to choose Python. There you go, Python. The drop down, it will create one for me. A license. I'm going to use, what license have I not talked about in a while? BSD. Okay, use a different license I haven't They don't have the unlicensed. You can see they don't have as many unlicensed. I'll just use Apache 2.0. Okay, the README, I'll just use the default, and it says initialize the repository with selected files and templates. That's correct. Then I'll click create. So you see that's created it really fast. See, this is the README. README only has my Python project. We have our license here. We have our git ignore. If you want to take a look at them, you see they're all here. You can actually, can I actually edit this? No, you can't edit. This is just a viewer. It's syntax highlighting is really fast too. I'm really impressed with that. And obviously README and the license. Sorry, let me go back to git ignore. Yeah, so this is all the stuff for Python, Python-based stuff. You see all that stuff there. All right, so let's go back. Now, you see this is what I was saying. One of the things I dislike about this is, okay, you can see it here. So by default, you use SSH. You can also use HTTP. Obviously, if I installed an SSL certificate, a self-site one, I'd have been at HTTPS, but that's fine. I don't use HTTP, so I'll use SSH here. You can see it's Edward/my Python project. That's going to be, I think it's .git at the end. Yes, .git. So you can copy this. Now, obviously, because I changed the port number, this won't quite work. I'll need to put my own port number, and I'll need to use my key in order to clone this. So that's what we're going to do now next. So I'll show you how to do that. Let's go back to the command line. Where are you? Where are you, command line? Here we go. No, that's not the command line. That's the text editor. Here's the command line. I'm going to clear this up. I'm going to show you here. As you can see, there's only 3 files now. So I'm going to do the clone. I'm going to do the clone. So in order now, because I need to use my key, I need to use my private key in order to do a clone. So I'm going to use it for identification only, and I'll show you how to do that. So copy here. I paste that in here. So that's one way. You see, that's how to. That's how you use it. However, that's not what we want. That's not what we want, because I said we want to actually clone it, but we do not have a what do you call it? Remember, we have to use the SSH and the git as well. So what we're going to do is it's the same thing. I'll just give you a simple command. So here, as you can see here, so we use git underscore SSH underscore command equals SSH space -i and then admin key. The reason we do this is because by default it's going to look in our .ssh folder to grab the specific key. However, I wanted to use my local key, this one here, so that's why I do that. And then obviously the same thing, git clone SSH /git at localhost. You see it's not 20 port 22, 2222 /Edward and blah blah blah. So you see that this is why I changed the port number, because if I didn't do this, port 22, as I said, is already used on the host system. So that's why I changed the port number to make sure it's coming from the right place, /Edward and etc. /Edward /my-python-project.git. I press enter. You see there's a problem because there's a conflict. Obviously I did this for testing, so give me a second while I go and remove it from the I can't show you this part because I have some client keys and other stuff, so I'll do it in a different browser. No, a different browser. I'll do it in a different terminal. It's off screen here. So I'll just go .ssh /known hosts. So you go to your known hosts and you just delete all the stuff that has localhost. Usually it's the end because that's the last thing I did. Okay, and then after that I save. Now I'm going to do this again. I'm going to clear this. Clear. You see it wants to add the key, so I say yes. And you see it has cloned. As you can see, it says Let me close this here, it's not needed. Yeah, so you see it cloned the project, and you can see here it enumerating objects 5, counting objects 5 out of 5, compressed them, and then it was able to and you see it's permanently added to my obviously.ssh non-hosts file. Okay, so we go into here. You see we have our license and we have a README file. If I Control H, so you see hidden files. You see there's a git ignore, and then there's also here, and the configuration is already okay. We can even prove the configuration is okay. I'll open up in here to check it out, and you can see it automatically. Let me zoom in. Sorry about that. You can see it already put the remote origin here. Git at localhost :/edward/my-python-project.git. So it's already done that for us. And if I never need to fetch, you see it already has that stuff, and the branch is already master. So there we go. So let's go back to the command line. Here we go. So all I need to do is I'm going to cd into our folder, cd my Python, and if I put git branch, you see it tells me I'm on master branch. Okay, so I know why they do that as well, because in the way before the work, they try to get people to use main instead of master. Master was obviously the default, so with an application that's been around for a while like this guys, they still use master, which is fine. Like, I have no beef in this battle. Okay, so let me add a very simple Python file. I'm just going to use echo. It's going to be a hello world, very simple Python stuff. So I'll just paste that in here. So you see I'm just printing hello world, and that's in the hello.python file. That's it. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to add that file, git add hello.py, and then I'm going to git commit -m for the message just simply see add new code, should be added, but that's fine, you see. And then after that, all I need to do is now I need to push it. So to push it, I still need my key as well, and remember we're pushing it to master, so it's simple enough. So I just paste this command here, say git _ssh_ command equals ssh space -i, and then path to my key, and it's git push origin master. That's it. So if I press enter, you see it has now pushed my changes. So now when we go back to Gogs, I should have hello py. So if we go back here to Gogs, obviously I need to do a little refresh. You can see now there's hello py, and you see it says this was added 38 seconds ago. The other stuff was added 7 minutes ago. Okay, and the last change obviously here, you see the git ID here, it's 38 seconds ago. So as I said, this is a very simple, and it's fast, by the way. It's a very simple Git server. So if you need one, especially with user permissions, if you're doing collaboration, use this. Now, would I use this myself? Probably not, because I said I usually just stay on the command line. Usually there's only one user, me. I'm always the only one, except when I work on some bigger projects, some clients, there might be already a team there, and I just help them get started. But normally, I just do everything on the command line. Okay, especially when I'm using an IDE, so like NetBeans, I can just do everything there. But if you guys are learning, starting out, it's a simple one to set up. You see how quickly it was, and you can track all your files and all that as well. So one thing I like about this, it just focuses on one thing, just your repositories. It doesn't add any extra stuff, which makes it complicated and harder to maintain. So if you're interested, there you go. So that's the tutorial. You can now you can create. You can see it says here 2 commits. If I click on those 2 commits, obviously there's one created by Edward, the system user, and Edward Ojambo from the add new code that's remotely. Obviously that Edward Ojambo has access to it because his SSH key was there. Okay, it's interesting how it comes up with the thumbnails as well. All right, so let's finish this up. As I said, I don't want to take too much of your time. If you want to level up your programming skills, if you're ready to take your development to the next level, You can check out my programming books for in-depth knowledge. The link is in the description. And then if you want to explore my comprehensive online programming courses at ojamboshop.com, the link is also in the description. If you need professional help, support, and tutorials, I offer personalized help with coding for your coding journey or professional setup of the Git service. I'm available for one-on-one programming tutorials to accelerate your learning at ojambo.com/contact. And for businesses and individuals needing a robust solutions, I offer professional Gogs installation with Git and repository migration services at ojamboservices.com/contact. Happy self-hosting. That's the end of the tutorial. Just a quick reminder, I do a live stream every day at 2 p.m. Eastern. You visit ojambo.com, you go to the watch menu, lifestyle menu, and you see topics for this and upcoming tutorials. So you can see what we're doing tomorrow, and the time is always 2 p.m. Eastern. Also be sure to subscribe, like, follow, and leave comments. As I mentioned earlier, it helps this channel grow and it helps people find content such as this one. I do have, speaking of Git, this is probably going to be the last Git related content for a while. The reason is in the past I tried to make slightly more advanced tutorials. I think I did Git hooks and they were not popular. So that's why I've been doing this Git server stuff, and that seems to have been better. But I've run out of Git servers to try. So I don't know what to do next. So I might stop Git stuff for a while, but if you guys want me to do anything Git related, let me know. I'll be happy to do it. If you can point me somewhere, I'll be happy to do it. Also, I think I might, because the AI stuff is very popular and I have so much AI stuff, it's it's crazy. I have, even just right now, I have like probably enough content just for AI. I can do AI content like the next 2 weeks straight, both evening and the afternoon. That's how much content. There's so much stuff, and it's really, really exciting. So not just for generation, but the fact that I can get it to run on low spec devices. So that I think what will happen is, yeah, I'll probably be doing Git stuff, not Git stuff, AI stuff for a while, and then maybe I'll cycle back in a few months and start doing some Git stuff again if you guys want it. Yeah. So before I let you guys go, I also have 3 resources I want to plug. The first is that I live in a rural area where there's no internet and cellular service is very sporadic. So what I do is I got the SpaceX Starlink residential service, and it's been fantastic. Not only does it give me high-speed internet, for example, right now I'm live streaming on YouTube, Rumble, BitChute, and Odyssey at the same time, and there's no problem. And you guys, if you see my night streams, I do download stuff, and you see how quickly it is. So it's high speed. And I also use it from my phone for Wi-Fi calling, because the cellular service is bad too. I mean, it's sporadic. So by using Wi-Fi calling, I'm able to send and receive calls, text messages, including the multimedia messages as well, without any problems at all. And I don't have to pay any roaming fees. So paying roaming fees when this service is sporadic is actually not a good idea. So there we go. I do have my referral link. If you do use my referral link, I'll get 1 month free, and you'll get the service for you get a discount. It's the actual discount, and its duration is based on your geographical location, but you will get a discount. And then the other one is an affiliate link. It's for this little guy here. This is the Honeywell HeatBud personal ceramic heater. It's available on Amazon. So this little guy, it has 250 watt, that's the maximum power, and 170 watts. So I usually use the 170 watts when it's a little chilly or cool. Like for example, last month I didn't use any heater at all. I didn't turn on the heater. So I was just relying on this guy. So I'm working on a 1-year review on this. I actually finished writing it up. I just need to do some I want to do a few graphs. That's the only thing, that's the only order before I start filming for this little guy. So yeah, be on the lookout for that one. So this guy has been fantastic. You will see that, for example, the first year I was here, I was paying like $350 a month for propane, which is preposterous, and that was when it was mild. Last year, the winter was more harsh, and the most I ever paid, I think, was maybe $220, $250. So you can imagine, because of this little guy, I was able to save $100 per month in propane charges. Okay, and then this year I expect to save even more because number one is I didn't use the heater in October, and that's already 1 month gone. And then I said, with this little guy, obviously I'm also smarter too. I make sure I'm a little bit warm as well. Yeah, this guy is perfect because it's a personal one. That's all you need. Don't listen to people who tell you, oh, you need to heat up everything. You don't need to, because, for example, I'm in this room right now. Even this room, I don't need to heat up the entire room. I just need to heat up where I'm working, where I'm, my personal space. That's all I need to. I don't need to heat up any other stuff behind me. That's just a waste of resources. And propane, of course, is very expensive here. Also, I'll show you all the charges, all the fees I paid and all that. So this one is an affiliate link. And you can see I do have the affiliate link there as well. And the last guy I promoted all of last month, I'm going to continue for a while, sorry about that, is this one. It's my book. It's called Algorithmic Serpent. It's a psychological thriller about a scientist who creates an AI system and he loses his mind, and he has to regain control of his mind and the AI system. You can see there, that's my name, Edward Jumbo, the author. And this is the back of this novelette. It's available in paperback. This is the paperback version, as you can see the pages there, and also in ebook form. If you have Kindle Unlimited, you can get the ebook for free. So go check it out. I made it as affordable as possible. It's basically at cost. So check it out. Give me feedback, good or bad, because I like writing and I want to improve my writing skills. Okay, not just for programming books, but also for other, I want to branch out as well, not just programming. I do like programming, but obviously programming is not as popular as I wish it was. So most people, I said, there are other things, I have other ideas, so I want to try them out. Okay, so with that said, I'm going to check the live chats. And I'm gonna start with BitChute. Okay, there's I think I need to refresh. I don't want to do that. Let me refresh. Okay. Oh, there's a couple of views there. Okay, there's nobody in the live chat. That's the most live views I've seen from what do you call it, from BitChute. Thanks for that. I'm gonna refresh. Rumble here, okay. Okay, there's a few in Rumble as well. Thanks for that. There's now in the live chat, and then finally, I'm gonna refresh Odyssey. Let's see what's going on in Odyssey. Odyssey, there's no live chat. Okay, I'll go check out YouTube. YouTube, there's no live chat request. That's perfectly fine. So I'm gonna end this, and I will see you guys tonight. I might do another live stream tonight. I'm not sure yet because it will depend, but I might. I said there's a lot of AI stuff, but I don't have time to write all the articles for all the AI stuff. But maybe we'll do something fun. Or you know what? Yeah, maybe if I do have time before the night stream, I'll get started on some of the articles for the AI upcoming. There's quite a lot of information going on. That's what we'll do. We'll do that tonight. We'll do another AI stuff. And I'll see you guys tomorrow I'll see you tonight at 8:30 p.m. and tomorrow at 2 p.m. Eastern. So with that, I leave you guys. Have a great day and see you soon. Bye now.